I'm so glad that you guys are here today. So with that being said, we'll go ahead and get started. So the name of this session is called Paying for Your Education, Transitioning from Community College to UHD. But like I said, it doesn't necessarily just mean community college, just transferring overall to UHD and what that looks like when it comes to financial aid. All right, so I do have a question for you guys before we get started, kind of take a little poll. So the question is, does financial aid transfer? So if you want to put in the chat whether you think yes it does or no it doesn't. So it looks like it's a mixture. There's some yeses and there's some nos in there. So the answer to that is going to be, to this question, is no, it does not transfer. Even though you've done the application, the aid that you may have received at the other institution doesn't necessarily automatically transfer over. Like if they did award you for the spring term over there and you're coming here for spring, you can't necessarily expect that same awards that you got at that institution to be directly transferred here, and that you'll be receiving it here as well. So it doesn't necessarily specifically transfer, right? It was kind of a trick question for you guys. You do get to apply for financial aid with UHD for the spring term that you're attending with us. And so we're going to go over what that process looks like. Doesn't mean you're going to have to start all over from zero. It just means you need to do some steps to make sure that we do get your application and that we can process you and award you financial aid here at UHD. So what must you do? So step one, hopefully you do already have that FAFSA application completed if you are currently going somewhere or went somewhere during the fall. And you receive financial aid, then you should have a FAFSA application already on file. And so we're looking at the 2022-2023 FAFSA, right? Because there are two different applications online if you go to FAFSA.gov. So you want to be sure that you do transfer that application to our school. So you would go onto the website and add our school code, which you see on the screen is going to be 003612. Now, if you haven't done the FAFSA application, maybe you didn't go anywhere in the fall and spring is actually going to be your first semester for the year, and you still need to do that FAFSA application, be sure that you do the 2022-2023 application. A lot of students go in and do 2023-2024 application, but that is only good for starting for fall of 2023. So be sure that you are completing the correct year, which is the 22-23 application. So step one is making sure we get your FAFSA application. So once you do go in and do those corrections, or you do complete the application, the timeline from when you submit it to us receiving it may be about 3 to 5 business days. So about a week's time. And so once we do get your application, we will be sure to send you an email confirming that we did receive it. So that just kind of goes to the second bullet point, which is just be sure you are completing the correct FAFSA for the appropriate aid year. Now, the priority deadline that is listed on here, that is in reference to when you're first applying for the year. So really for the upcoming school year, 2023-2024, if you plan to continue with UHD, you do want to go ahead and be sure that you also complete that FAFSA anyway. And the priority deadline for the 23-24 school year would be April 1st. So all that means is if you can complete your application, submit all necessary documents by April 1st, you will have priority in getting processed, and you'll know way in advance what kind of financial assistance you'll have for the upcoming school year. Next thing that you want to be sure to do outside of updating your FAFSA to be sure that we're listed on there so we can get your information is be sure that your admission status is good to go, that you've been admitted, because we won't be able to award you until you show as an admitted student here at UHD. So just be sure that you check in with admissions to make sure all of that is good to go, that you are admitted, and then we can be sure to do our part and be able to award you once you show as an admitted student here at UHD. Because you may have had financial aid at a prior school from the fall term, and they typically have also awarded you for spring, you'll definitely want to contact that school about canceling anything that they do have pending for you for the spring semester, since you will be coming here to UHD, because you can't receive aid at two schools for the same period. So when we do award you and we see that you're an incoming transfer student, we are going to look and see if you had any aid pending for for the spring semester somewhere else. And so if you do, that's going to stop us from being able to award you, because we need to make sure that you do cancel the aid at the other school. So to prevent any delay in us being able to award you, please be sure that your other school did cancel anything that they did award you for the spring semester, so that we're in the clear to be able to award you. In the event that we do come across your file and we see that you have pending aid for spring, we'll put something on your checklist called multiple reporting, and that means that you'll need to contact the financial aid office at the prior school, let them know they need to cancel your aid, and it does have to be canceled online with the Department of Education to where we can be able to see it, that it was canceled, and then we can go ahead and finish up your file and be able to award you financial aid. So you definitely want to stay on top of that if you do contact the financial aid office about canceling it, and making sure that they did do the necessary steps and update that they canceled your aid with the Department of Education. You definitely want to keep in communication with what's going on with your account by monitoring your Gator Mail account, which is your school issued email here for UHD. That's our main way of communicating with our students in regards to what's going on with their financial aid, from, letting you know once we've gotten your FAFSA application to, if you're missing any information, instructing you to log into your portal, see what kind of documents you may need to turn in, to actually when you've been awarded. Please be sure that you routinely do check that email, because that's how you'll know if something's needed or once you've actually been awarded for the school year or for the semester. In the event that we do need additional documents other than the FAFSA, please try to submit all of that documentation as soon as possible. Most documents that we do request from you can be uploaded by you at home. You'll have that opportunity to upload any documents that we need directly, and you don't need to necessarily turn them into us or bring them to us to do it. We can if you need us to. We certainly will do that for you, but you also have the power to do so. Just know that, processing could possibly take up to 3 weeks after the completion of your financial aid, just depending on the time of year. Right now, it's not so crazy, so you may see a quicker turnaround than 3 weeks, but just be aware that, just depending on from when you submit your FAFSA, remember, it takes about a week for us to get it. Once we do get it, as long as we don't need any additional documents from you, and everything's in place, you've been admitted, everything looks good, then within a week's time, you'll possibly be awarded. Now, if there is a request for additional documents from you, so we'll need information for you to turn in, then that will possibly go ahead and delay the timing of you getting awarded, because we have to wait for you to turn in those documents and then give time for our counselors to review those documents that you turn in. So the timeline will vary depending on the situation. All right, so once all financial aid documents have been completed and processed by the counselor, then you move to the next stage of actually getting awarded by our office. And so once we do award you, we will send you an email to your Gator Mail account letting you know that you've been awarded, and to log into your My Portal to accept any awards that require you to go in and accept or decline if you choose to. And so to do so, you'll go to uhd.edu. At the top, you'll see My UHD, so you'll click on that, and that's going to direct you to the portal. And so once you log in, then you'll see some options there, some different tiles, and you'll want to select scholarships and financial aid to be able to access the information regarding your awards. Most grants that we do award are automatically accepted, so you don't necessarily have to go in and accept those, but loans, work study, those do have to be accepted if you want to take those out. If you do happen to get Texas Grant, that also requires you to go online and accept as well. But Pell Grant, obviously any state grant or institutional grant that we do award, those don't need to be. They're automatically accepted on your behalf. So again, just be sure that you check your Gator Mail, look out for that award notice, and then follow the necessary steps in that email on how to go about viewing and accepting your aid. So I did want to cover what types of awards that we do offer here at UHD, because like I mentioned in the beginning, you may have been awarded a certain awards package at your prior school, and they may offer certain grants that we don't necessarily have here. So I did want to cover what types of grants that we do offer our students here at UHD. And we'll start off with the federal grants, which these you should be able to get no matter what school you go to, because it's federal funding, right? So the first one is the big one, the federal Pell Grant. So we do award Pell Grant to our students who are eligible. It's based on financial need. It's based on that EFC number, expected family contribution, that comes for your FAFSA. So as long as you show that you are eligible, then we will award Pell Grant. The next federal grant that we offer is the Federal Supplemental Educational Opportunity Grant, or SEOG for short. This is a need-based grant. Students who receive this have to be Pell eligible. The only difference, though, is this is a limited grant, so not all students will receive this award. We award it on a first-come, first-served basis. So when your file is going through the awarding process, if there's funding available and you're eligible, then it'll be offered to you. If there's no more funds, then unfortunately it will not. The next one is Texas Grant. So this is a state-funded grant, and this is for students who meet specific requirements. It's open to both FAFSA students as well as TASFA. So there's one of two ways in which most students receive Texas Grant. One is if you're an incoming freshman and you graduated from high school as recommended, advanced, distinguished is some of the terminology used, and you meet some other criteria, then you can receive Texas Grant. The other option of receiving Texas Grant, if you're coming in from a two-year college and you got your associate's degree within the last 12 months and you meet the other additional criteria, then again, you can possibly receive Texas Grant. So if you want us to look into your eligibility for Texas Grant, you think you meet the requirements, then definitely reach out to us. We'll provide your information to the counselor that's over Texas Grant. She'll review your eligibility, and if you're eligible and there's funds, then she will award that Texas Grant to you. The next one is Texas Public Education Grant, or TPEG. This is another state grant that's offered. The funding for this one is limited. So again, it's awarded on a first come, first served basis. And it is open to both our FAFSA as well as TASFA students. And then the last one that we do award here at UHD is our institutional grant, and it's called Mandated Designated Tuition Grant. And we do offer it for both our undergraduate students as well as graduate. It's open to both FAFSA and TASFA students, and again, it's limited. So just going back to, when your file's going through the awarding process, if that grant is available and you're eligible for it, it'll be offered to you. Most of these grants do require at least half-time enrollment. That mandated tuition grant, the TPEG, the SEOG, they require at least half-time enrollment. Texas Grant, if you do qualify, you have to enroll at least 3/4 time or more. Pell Grant, the amount that you can receive is going to be based on not only the EFC, but the amount of hours you enroll in. It is possible to receive Pell Grant for 3 hours if your EFC is low enough that it allows it. If not, you may have to do half-time or higher, but we can definitely look into that for you if you're unsure of that. But just know overall, most financial aid that we do award is going to require at least half-time enrollment. Next, we have our student loans. The types of loans that we offer are here on the screen. We have the first two, the subsidized and the unsubsidized. These are federal direct loans, so they come from the FAFSA. Difference between these two, subsidized is need-based, so you have to have financial need to qualify. With the unsubsidized, it's not. It's non-need-based, and so essentially anybody can qualify for an unsubsidized loan. The other difference between the two is the subsidized is only available to our undergraduate students, and the interest is covered while you're in school by the government. Once you go into repayment, or if you happen to fall below half-time or when your loans, then the interest that's accruing from that point on will fall on you. But while you're in school, it's being covered by the government. With the unsubsidized, it's only for our graduate, well, undergrad can receive it, but graduate students is the only kind of loan they can get is going to be the unsubsidized. You no longer qualify for sub. So with the unsubsidized interest, as soon as that loan does get dispersed, that interest is accruing, it is going to be your responsibility to pay it either while you're in school, or you can wait until you graduate. You have that option, but just know that you are responsible for that interest from the time that loan does get dispersed. The next kind of loan that we do offer here is a Parent Plus loan. So this is for our dependent students that do have to provide parent information on their application. If the family feels like they need additional assistance outside of the standard subsidized and unsubsidized unsubsidized loan, the parent can choose to apply for a PLUS loan. This is a credit-based application, and they complete an application online at studentloans.gov. And so if the parent is approved for the PLUS loan, then they can proceed with that process and take out the loan on behalf of the student, and the parent will be responsible for paying it back when it comes time to paying the loan. If the parent is approved, there is an additional form that they'll have to complete, and it's called a parent borrower authorization form, and it's available on our website. And so the form, you would complete it and get it submitted to our office so that we can complete the process for that PLUS loan. And then lastly, we have the Graduate Professional PLUS loan. And so this, as the name indicates, is for our graduate students. So graduate students can get the unsubsidized direct loan, and they can also apply for this Graduate Professional PLUS loan. Just like the Parent PLUS loan, they're going to go to studentloans.gov and complete that application. Again, it is credit-based. And so if you get approved, then you'll also be able to get this additional type of loan in addition to the unsubsidized loan option. Scholarships. So scholarships is another big source that a lot of our students are interested in. And so we do have all our scholarship information on our website. So on this screen is our website. It's uhg.edu/scholarships. All our information is online, and it's provided based on the different areas. So for instance, we have institutional, departmental, private, and external. So institutional, meaning scholarships that are offered by the university. So we do offer scholarships for our incoming freshmen, our incoming transfer students, as well as our continuing students. So you can go on our website, see what the requirements are. When you go on there, you will notice that there is no application. The students selected for these scholarships, they are selected by the, if you want to think of your admissions application as your application for these scholarships, because we don't officially take an actual scholarship application, the committee is able to use the data that they pull from the admissions application to be able to find students who are eligible for these scholarships. But you can at least go on the website, see what the requirements are, and see if you could potentially be eligible. Since you guys are going to be transfer students coming in, you definitely want to pay attention to the transfer scholarships. And if you feel like you should be eligible, you're welcome to reach out to us, and we can see if there's still funding available for our transfer students for those transfer scholarships, and if so, we'll forward your information over to our scholarship director, which is Dr. Rashana Mitchell, and she'll look, and if there is funding and you meet the criteria, then she can possibly award you that transfer scholarship. But definitely go to our website, because we not only talk about our institutional scholarships, but we also have departmental scholarships. So that's going to be the specific colleges. So depending on what degree you're seeking, if you're getting a business degree or something from sciences and technology area, they all have their own scholarships that they offer their students as well. So you can go to your specific college and their website and see what kind of scholarships they offer their students. Those typically do have some kind of application tied to it. So you can look into that. And then lastly, private and external is going to be anything outside the university. So there's a lot of organizations outside that do provide scholarship opportunities for students. So you definitely want to look into that. We do highlight some on our website, but obviously there's so many scholarships out there. There's just no way that we can put everything on our website. So with that being said, what I would also look into, and we do have a page with the information for various scholarship search engines. And so what you would do is you can select any one of them listed on the website. I think the number one used is fastweb.com, but you go on there, you create a profile, you answer questions about yourself, and then it's going to find scholarships for you that you can apply for. So definitely check that out, because that will really broaden your search for scholarship opportunities. We get a lot of students asking us, is there a scholarship for this reason, or for this situation, and there very well may be, but you'll definitely need to do so by going through one of those search engines to possibly find those scholarships. So in the event that you do have any questions, you can reach out to us, or you can reach out to Dr. Rashana Mitchell, and her email is on the screen in the event that you need to reach out to her about scholarships. All right, so I wanted to talk about disbursement and how financial aid here does disperse to pay towards classes. So we award financial aid 7 to 10 days before the first day of class. so about a week out. And so once we start that process, from that point moving forward, we disperse aid every day as it becomes ready to be dispersed for a student. So in the event that your financial aid does not cover 100%, any remaining outstanding balance is going to be your responsibility to cover, and to be sure that you do so by the payment deadline. If you're not able to pay everything by the payment deadline, there will be some options for you, and I'll talk about those in a few minutes. Just know that you do have to make some kind of payment arrangement by the payment deadline to prevent your classes from being dropped. But if there is excess financial aid, meaning you have more financial aid than you needed to cover your tuition fees, and you end up having a credit on your account, then you're going to receive a refund. And I'll talk about how you'll have access to that refund. So that brings me to this slide. So refund. So we partner with a bank called BankMobile. Some of you may have heard of BankMobile because I do know some other schools do use it. I know HCC does. So we partner with BankMobile to issue out refunds to our students. So you should get in the mail a refund selection kit. It's going to look like this green envelope on your screen. It's sent approximately 2 weeks before the start of the term. And on there, it's going to have a code for you to be able to create an account on BankMobile and activate your account and select your preference for how you want your refund. So the options that you have for refund disbursement is one, if you do create an account with BankMobile, they'll send you a bank card or a debit card. And once the funds are deposited into that account, then you can use that card to access those funds. The second option is if you already have a bank account and you want the money transferred to that personal banking account, you just need to provide your banking information, and then we can send a wire transfer of the funds to your bank account. And then the last option is if you want a paper check, we can certainly do that as well and mail that to the address that you put on file. If you previously have used BankMobile from your prior school, you don't necessarily have to do a whole new account. What you just need to do is contact BankMobile, let them know that you've switched schools, let them know you're now attending UHD, and they can update your account to reflect that you'll be getting funds now from UHD, but you'll just need to contact BankMobile. So on this screen, I do have their care number, 1-877-327-9515, or you can reach them if you go to the website refundselection.com and contact them with any questions you have about your account. So I wanted to explain a little bit about what cashiers, we have a department called cashiers and we have a department called student accounting, kind of what their responsibilities are, what role they play, because a lot of times students confuse our department with those departments and what we each do. So our cashiers department here on campus, they're the office that accepts and processes any payments from students for tuition fees and any miscellaneous items or fees that they get charged. They also process any tuition verification letters. So you definitely want to contact cashiers in regards to any of those issues. Now, our second department that we have, student accounting, and student accounting and cashiers are kind of one overall. They're under what we call student business services, but student accounting's piece or part in their department is they handle billing. So they're responsible for sending out those bill notifications to students who are registered for the semester to let them know, hey, you have a bill, this is what you're going to be owing for the semester. They're responsible for sending out refunds. So we don't handle refunds. We do get a lot of questions regarding it. We can answer some things when it comes to refunds, but not necessarily everything. So if you definitely have questions about refunds, you'll definitely want to contact student accounting in regards to that. They process and collect any return checks, any third-party contracts for payment on your behalf. They post exemptions if you happen to be getting an exemption of some sort. In the event that you owe a past due balance, they do collect on delinquent student accounts. And then lastly, they handle our emergency book loans. Book loans are a loan that you can take out to help assist with the purchase of your books, and you apply for that online. They also handle our emergency deferment and installment plan questions, which I'll talk about in a few minutes here, but these are pretty much their main roles in the student accounting department. So I spoke earlier of, in the event that your financial aid is not enough to cover 100% of your balance due, you have some options of either how to make payment on that balance or overall just how to make payment on your account. So one option is if you can pay it in full. They accept payment methods of cash, personal check, money order, debit, credit card, or electronic check. Again, if you're using financial aid to make payment towards your classes, we automatically disperse the aid to your balance. You don't have to do anything to initiate that process as long as you're registered, right? And we'll apply whatever aid that you have available to your balance. So the university offers payment plans in the event that you cannot pay your balance off by the payment deadline. And so the options are an installment plan, an emergency deferment plan, and short-term deferment plans. These options are available for our fall terms, our spring term, as well as summer terms. We do have some smaller terms in between the major terms, and we call them winter term, and we used to call it May mini. I think now they're calling it summer mini. But these sessions, unfortunately, these payment options are not available for them, and so anything you do owe for those terms would have to be paid in full out of pocket. So for the installment plan, it's basically a plan that breaks up your tuition fees into 4 equal payments, and that first payment is due when you initiate the installment plan. There is a $24 setup fee tied to the installment plan if you do decide to take it out. And then once you make that first payment, your next payment will be due at the first of the next 3 months until you pay off that balance. If you do initiate an installment plan, that essentially will hold your classes for the semester, and just have to be sure that by the end of the term that you have paid off your balance. If not, they do put a delinquency hold on your account, and that prevents you from being able to register for classes for the following term, be able to get any kind of transcripts, be able to do anything essentially, because you'll have a hold on your account. So you do want to be sure that you do pay off your balance before the end of the term. Now, in the event that you can't do the installment plan where you make that first payment right up front, we have something called emergency deferment plan. It's like the installment plan. They're still taking your balance and they're breaking it up into 4 equal payments. But instead of you having to make that initial payment, they defer it to later in the semester. So you don't pay anything up front. It secures your classes. You're able to go to classes, and then you just have to meet your payment deadlines moving forward that are set up when you do set up that deferment plan. This also has that $24 fee attached to it. Just be sure that you secure one of these payment options to prevent your classes from being dropped, because if you don't make any kind of payment arrangement, they will drop you. All of these plans are available online for you to apply for, and it's an instant process. So it takes a few minutes to initiate and push through. Payment deadline. So payment or any payment arrangements for registration must be made through or by the cashier's office by the due date. Like I said, if full payment or appropriate payment arrangements are not made by the payment deadline, then they will drop you for non-payment. If you want to view what the payment deadlines are, you can go to uhd.edu/academic calendars and select the specific semester to see what the deadlines are for that term. You may or may not receive the type of aid same type of aid or amount that you received at your previous institution. Awards can differ between us and what you previously received at the other school. One, because of availability of funds, and two, like I said, we don't necessarily award the same grants that maybe the other school awarded, with the exception of the federal grants. But there can be some differences between state funds that we award and institutional funds that we award here versus what you may have gotten at the other school. So just be aware that you may not see the same awards package here that you got at your prior school. Amount of federal student aid that you did receive at your previous institution will affect what we award you here. That just means that we're going to look at what you already got in the fall to see what you have available to use for the spring. And then we may award your financial aid before UHD Office of Admissions fully evaluates your transcripts. So that could have an impact in particular to maybe like loans, because loans is awarded based on grade level. So if we have you classified as a certain classification, like maybe sophomore, but really you have the hours to be, a junior or a senior, that can impact the amount of loan money you're eligible for. So just be aware of that. In the event that you're admitted as a transient student, which means you're coming here taking courses, but you're not going to be getting your degree here, you will not receive financial aid. I don't see that very often, so I don't think it's going to be an issue with anybody here, but we do have to put that out there that transient students are not available for financial aid here at UHD. So everybody does have an assigned counselor. So in the event that you would like to reach out to your assigned counselor, you can do so by emailing them. And so if you want to find out who your counselor is, you go to our website, uhd.edu/financial, and you're going to click on About Us. And then from there, there's an option for Who's My Counselors, like you see on the screenshot here on the screen. And it brings up the list of counselors. And so you'll just select your counselor based on your last name, and it has their email, and you can, send an email to your counselor with your questions. But yeah, this is how you can find who your counselor is. We do have social media. So we are big on that here at UHD because we know we're always on our phones, right? In some capacity, we're on, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Snapchat, and TikTok now. So we are on all the major platforms, as you can see here on the screen. So please be sure that you do follow us because we do provide a lot of information regarding financial aid, of what's going on here at UHD, just in general about financial aid, any events that are coming up, any incentives for other types of financial assistance available to students. We're going to put it on our social media. So just please be sure that you do follow us to get those important updates. And then lastly, this is our contact information. So in the event that you do need to contact us, we are available a variety of ways. So we are here on campus Monday through Friday. Monday through Thursday, our office hours are going to be 8 a.m. until 6 p.m. And then Fridays, we're here from 8 to 5 p.m. Now, if you want to meet with us virtually, we are available virtually from the hours of 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. And that is Monday through Friday. We do have counselors on during those times to meet with students one-on-one to go over any questions that they have about their account. If you need our mailing address, it's on the screen here as well. A lot of times scholarship checks are being mailed to us, and so this is the mailing address that you want to be sure that you provide the scholarship donor with so that we can be sure to get your check. And then lastly is our phone and fax numbers. So we do have a call center here on campus. There are representatives that are available to speak to you in regards to financial aid and any questions you might have. So you can definitely call in. If you need to fax anything to us, there's our fax number. And then lastly, our email. So if you want to email us with any questions you have, or maybe some documents you need to turn in to us, you can do so by email. And our email is uhdfinaid@uhd.edu. We usually respond within 24 to 48 hours, just depending on the time of year. It could be a little bit longer, but right now we're up to date, so you should get a response like within the day, if not by the next day. And then on the screen, it's just showing you how you can access our Zoom lobby. If you go to our website, uhd.edu/financial, you'll see that blue Zoom lobby button. You'll click on that to be able to get into the waiting room. And you'll just tell the host there that you want to speak to a financial aid counselor, and they'll move you into a breakout room if a counselor is available.